All right, my English teacher friends. So in this video, I'm honoring a few special requests to unpack and kind of do a deeper dive into a crucial aspect of my Word Study Academy, something that I call the Word Slam. And in particular, I think teachers understood my previous demonstrations of sort of the dry, pedantic, typical stuff that we do with word study and vocabulary acquisition. But the questions were stemming from, like, one, how do you gamify it? And then the biggie is, Christian, when you gamify your instruction, doesn't it slow down so much of your curriculum? What gets sacrificed, in the process of gamifying? And the answer is, you're going to see in a couple of demonstrations within this video that the gamification actually speeds up your instructional time. You can accomplish a lot more in a block or a bell period when you gamify versus traditional methods. So for a sense, I teach on the block. We have 86-minute periods. So I like to have a lot of transitions. I call them commercial breaks for my students where, we're not doing the same thing for 86 long, boring, sustained minutes. So I usually begin every class with a vocabulary practice, with a vocabulary exercise, and I'll dig into that a little bit for you. So kind of a overview and kind of like the history of the word slam stems from this. Early in my career, so I'm going into my 21st career in the fall. Early in my career, I just realized that there was a pretty substantial vocabulary void in my classroom, even for my AP students and even at the college level. In order to approximate the level of academic writing that I, wanted my students to get to by the end of their time with me, I realized that I really needed to find strategies and ways to augment their vocabulary pretty substantially. So I did a deep dive into a lot of the literature and the research, and kind of cobbled together my own strategies. And one of them was the word slam, which is an integral part of my Word Study Academy. So basically, it looks like this. Each day when the students come into my class, we study two groups of words, and they're on a list. I just have like a Word document. So there are 100 words on each word slam list, and we study two groups per day. So this is an example of group one, right? So it has 10 words. And this is an example of group two. So I might say to my students, all right, today we're studying groups 1 and 2. Cram as many of those words into your head. And ideally, we know that vocabulary is learned, best. The Velcro works best when we can contextualize the words. So just study these up and, get them in your head and try to put them in a sentence. So in terms of running the word slam, I can do it, without gamification. And primarily, it's my way of organizing myself because, as we know as teachers, we have all that bureaucratic stuff that we have to do in the beginning of the periods, like take attendance and, make sure, 504s and IEPs are being met, and, just the minutia, the bureaucratic stuff that we have to do. So while they're studying their vocab, these 20 words, I take attendance and take care of passes and all of that stuff. So either I can gamify it or I don't gamify it. I like to do a variety of things because we know we're contending for our students' attention like never before. So sometimes I do it real quick. And my way of taking attendance works like this. I'll just call on a kid and I'll say, Jason, out of the 20 words today from groups 1 and 2, use one properly in a sentence. And He can choose any one. So he might say, he might go to group 2 and say, when Mr. Kuhn tells stories in class, he always runs off on a tangent, right? So I know that Jason knows that word, and the students, in the class are hearing words in context, and they Velcro, they stick. So I might say, okay, Samantha, your turn. My sore ankle is hampering my ability to run in the marathon this weekend. Perfect. Todd, you're next. I abhor it when people lie to me. I already said Katrina. Wyeth, your turn. Go. I'm rather placid today. I did meditation this morning and I'm feeling very placid, right? So they just use them in context. So that's one real quick way to learn a ton of words very quick. And it takes like 5 minutes, 6 minutes, depending on your class size. And we do that every day. And I find in some variation, I'm going to show you a couple of other different ways in a second here, gamified ways. But consistently doing this, I find that my students' vocabs just go off the charts over the course of the academic year. So one way that we gamify it is this. So I'm big on going to thrift stores and buying games for my students for gamification. So there's 3 ways we do this, and I just do it depending on the mood of the class. Like if we need to keep it loosey goosey, we need a break from routine. I find that engagement is lagging. We'll do an exercise like this. So just the other day, we did cornhole, and I bought some cornhole boards from a thrift store, and we used it. We've used jungle toss, and I have a Nerf basketball hoop on my door. And again, you can make the rules however you want. But basically for cornhole, we did it this way. We had 2 teams. I split the class in half. And if the student landed the bean sack in the hole, they had to basically choose any of the words from group 1 or 2, but instead of using the actual word, they had to use synonyms, right? And so let's say, for example, Katrina, is we're doing this exercise, and she's like, all right, tangent. Mr. Kuhn is so discursive. Mr. Kuhn goes on these scatological rants when he, gives directions. Something along those lines. So we just like point valued it, and I find that aspect of competition and collaboration works wonderfully in the classroom, and students really thrive on that. So that was one way that we did it, and again, it slows things down a little bit because you're gamifying, but it was so much fun. And I'll talk about the assessment component in a second. I actually think it helps out the assessment on the on the tail end. So we've used ring toss. We used the Nerf basketball. We've used cornhole, and in my YouTube channel, I have a whole bunch of other examples of how I gamify the word study. But you'll find with the synonym challenge, right? So let me go back for a second here. So let's say that we're doing the Nerf. If a student, sinks a shot, we want synonyms of one of the 20 words in groups 1 and 2 if you're working on groups 1 and 2. And then they're getting so many words, and you'd be amazed that students have so many synonyms that they already know in relation to, in conjunction with the tier 2 level words that are on the word slam list. So it's pretty wild. We get hundreds, thousands of words over the course of an academic year that ultimately trickle into students' writing and in their speech. In terms of assessment, because I know a lot of teachers had questions about that, each list has 100 words, so there's 10 groups. Each group has 10 words. Each day we do 2 groups. So when we get to the end of groups 9 and 10, the following class period, we typically have our word slam quiz, and it works like this. So on those sheets, so let me go back here. So on the sheets, I basically give the students the day of the assessment a list of all the 100 words, but I remove the definition. And the goal is this: they have to write as many sentences properly using the word in context as possible in 30 minutes. All right. And here's the thing. So, like, for example, this past academic year, I had freshmen, juniors, and AP students, AP Lit Lang, freshman and junior. And my freshmen, I'd say class average, they typically are shooting in the low 60s. So they have, mastered 60 out of 100 words in 5 class periods. That's a lot. I mean, think about that over the course of the academic year. That's a ton of words that they are inheriting and just sponging, Velcroing over time. The juniors, Gen Ed, would be in the mid 70s. And my AP kids, they're super competitive. They're going for 100 out of 100. They study, and they make like little word cards, flashcards, and things like that. So AP kids are typically in the low 90s. Out of 100 words, they are taking away 90. So based on research, like cognitive research, that's a high percentage. And I find that competition, contextualization, collaboration is key to word study. And I'm always impressed with my students' writing and even their speaking, just during like our conversations and stuff over the course of the year. It becomes so much more nuanced and academic and precise as they go on. So to wrap things up here, as most of you know, I'm running my summer short course series over the next few weeks. And we have the Word Study Academy. So if you're intrigued by what you're seeing in this video, we're going to be running that a couple of times over the summer months. We have the Nuance Academy, where we're going to be looking at all the instructional exercises I've created around Strunk and White's Write It Right. So how do you really hammer home grammar, punctuation, syntax, nuance, rhythm, voice, flow, all of those things. We're going to be doing the AP strategies, AP strategies for success short course series, my alternative grading methods, and an introduction to Plato's discussion modality. So if you want more information on that, you can check out my webpage at teachinghowtowrite.com, or you can email me at teachingwritingcoach@gmail.com. Good news, and I haven't notified the groups of this yet, but I'm going to be running my Teach It Right 5-week mastermind through the National Writing Project going forward. So we're going to be collaborating together. So beginning August 9th, you can get the course through the National Writing Project, which is great because I know a lot of teachers for their PD need that stamp of approval, and it's going to be run through them. And then also in the fall, Tim Freitas, Brandon Amden, and myself will be presenting at NCTE in Anaheim. So many irons in the fire. If you need anything, reach out. teachingwritingcoach@gmail.com, or visit my webpage. So hopefully this helps and gives you guys some ideas of how you want to conduct your word study and really help your students to grow, mature, flourish as writers as far as their vocabulary acquisition goes. So take care for now. Happy writing, happy teaching.